Stress is a common experience among men. I'm sure you have experienced stress one way or another, and it's not a pleasant experience. Psychologists have argued that there is a healthy measure of stress, just the way they argue that there is a healthy measure of fear. And scripture says that anyone who fears does not know God or has not understood the love of God, because fear, small or big, involves torment. Now that torment is what I call stress. That torment tells you you are incapable. That torment tells you you fall short. That torment tells you you do not live up to the expectations. You cannot fit in that group. You are not worthy. Fear involves torment, and that torment is the other word for stress. And so then, with that understanding, then we know that stress comes as a result of man trying to do that which God has sent him to do, but he uses the arm of the flesh. He uses the resources of men. He uses his intellect rather than relying on God to provide the resources and the means to do the work. We have not been called to fit in any group. We have not been called to please men. Cursed is a man who pleases another man. Cursed is a man who runs to another man for resources and help. And so stress is an indicator of whether we are walking in the spirit or we are walking in the flesh. Stress is a result of us trying to do the work of God using the arm of the flesh. Why am I saying so? Because the opposite of trusting is trying. Trying attracts stress, which is torment as a result of the spirit of fear. Fear of acceptance, fear of performance, fear of meeting your expectations, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, those who trust God, they simply trust Him. They trust Him for resources, they trust Him for means, and they trust Him for the results. Their expectation is God's expectation. They don't have any other expectations. They don't have any other motive, because motive is also connected with stress. Motive is connected with stress. Those who trust God, those who trust in His Word, they live a carefree life. They have found the second rest. Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Learn of me, for my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Then you shall find rest for your soul." And so there is the rest that is given. You already have that rest. And there is the rest you find by simply trusting God. Those who are led by the Spirit are free from stress. They are free from fear. They are free from performance. They are free from any form of torment. And so that cancels the wisdom of psychologists and other medics that cancels the idea of stress as it has been laid out on Google and all these wise people of the world. Those who walk in the Spirit, those who are Spirit-led, those who simply trust God, they are stress-free. They have this understanding. It is God who called them. It is God who sustains them. It is God who provides for them. And it is God who receives glory. We are stewards of what God has given us. And stewardship involves us asking God for direction. Just as Ezekiel, when he was presented with a valley of dry bones that were very many and very dry, Ezekiel took the question back to God, and he told God, only you know. I don't know, only you. So tell me what I need to do. I don't want to go there with my own smartness. I don't want to think I'm very clever. I don't want to think I'm witty. I will come up with the best ideas. You give me your ideas, because you, God, your ideas are better than mine. You know. Only you know. And in Ezekiel 37, we find God now instructing Ezekiel on what to do and even how to prophesy. Ezekiel was never stressed when he saw a valley of dry bones, very dry and very many. And many times God will give you a task that is bigger than your abilities. Go back to God. Let him show you how to go about that task. If he has given you a work to pray over a city or a nation or a country or a region, ask him to show you what you ought to pray for. Romans 8:26, we do not know what we ought to pray for. And so we go back to him and we ask him, God, show us how to pray and what to pray for. And so when you're stressed, it's an indicator that you're trying to use your own might, your own intellect, your own wisdom, rather than relying on God. Because trusting is simply relying on God. Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord your God and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. God bless you and do you good.